A massive point for Bradford City, a 1-1 draw against league champions Leyton Orient. A fantastic point for us, the best point of the season, and it means a lot as well. The atmosphere was fantastic, the best we've seen at Valley Parade in years. Not only the attendance, but the atmosphere as well as a whole. Everyone standing up at times, and obviously we all came to remember the 56 and pay our respects for what happened 38 years ago. Gratefully, Leyton Orient also paid their respects as well, and they seemed like a really great fan base, brought a few as well, helped that attendance up, breaking League 2 records and our own records with 22,500 and some, not sure exact number, but over 22,000 fans, which is incredible again for League 2. Testament to our fan base. But throughout this season we've had the attendance numbers and the atmosphere's been okay, but not to what you'd expect. But today, although there were some nerves and the performance wasn't that great, everyone got up singing at times, everyone was just fantastic, and hopefully it inspires more to come next season, hopefully it inspires more to get the season tickets in next season, and hopefully we'll be in League 1 next season as well, along with Leyton Orient, because they do deserve to win the league. They've been a fantastic team, play a really good brand of football, which Rellen's done a fantastic job. I think he took over and they were down near the bottom of the table, and he's took them similar to where we were. I think we were about mid-table and they finished near us, and now this season they've gone and won the league, and hopefully we'll be joining them, like I say, in League 1. Fantastic manager, fantastic group of players. When I look at their team, Smythe has a good season, Sadler causes problems, they've got a good midfield, defensively they're very solid, and Vigouroux, what a good game he had, and I think a lot of City fans can acknowledge him and say he has been a fantastic keeper this season. Now I think we can say he does deserve to win that spot in the League 2 team this season, because although Harry Lewis has a fantastic season, great character as well, I think when we look at Lawrence Vigouroux and the season he's had and the game he had against us as well, made 2 or 3 really fantastic saves, and kept them with a draw, because I think he had one in the first half, just tipped it over the bar, had a couple in the second half, one from wide, a very solid save as well with others, and I think we can acknowledge him now that he has had a fantastic season with others at Leyton Orient. So well done to them, good fan base as well, and again paid the respect to the 56. But obviously tragically lost their lives 38 years ago, and we'll never ever forget them. Obviously it's on the 11th of May, and I'm sure many of us will be going down on Thursday to pay our respects further. But back to football. Next Sunday we've got a game, and that fills me with a lot of joy. But we have got one more game left in us, because to be honest, although I hadn't done many videos before this game, I've been a little busy, but I was very, very worried and anxious about this game, like many. I didn't think we were going to do it. I thought Leyton Orient were going to pair us off a park, maybe have a bit of a party atmosphere. Thought Mansfield were guaranteed to win their game almost, and they did, 2-0. That would have been enough if we lost to Leyton Orient, and it could have happened. All they needed to do was score 1 in the last minute, or like it's happened continually this season. That's what we've got to stamp out if we're going into when we go into the playoffs against Carlisle. I think we play next Sunday at 7, Sunday the 14th at 7 o'clock at home, and Carlisle we go to their place away on Saturday the 20th of May at 3 o'clock. I'm sure we'll all want to go there. But let me know your thoughts going into that as well. What are your thoughts going into the home leg? Are you happy that the first game is at home? Are you going to try and get tickets for the away leg as well? I'm sure we're all going to try and scramble our way into getting into that ground. I wonder how many they're going to allocate. I reckon it'd be over 1,000, but I don't know. Looking at the teams who have got into playoffs, I reckon that Salford won't give us much. Stockport, not just under 1,000 maybe, and Carlisle I think just over 1,000. So Carlisle's probably the one we'll get most for. But I think it might be the longest journey as well. But hopefully it'll be a good game. Obviously we're waiting in the stars with all the ex-players, but it's going to be one we can look forward to. Take it back to performance again. I don't think we were that good. I thought, look, if Orient played their best they have this season, with the intensity and the effort levels that they've been putting in, with the performance levels as well, even when we played them in December, although we weren't that good, they were fantastic. If they played anywhere near their best, I think they would have played us off the park, to be honest. I think we were fantastic defensively, I thought, before we conceded the goal, because that was really sloppy play. You might look at it and go, ain't that good defending really, but were really good shape to us. Narrow, they found it hard to play us through the middle, and then when they took it wide, yes, we looked a bit vulnerable, and they doubled up on us, and they created some really good chances by interchanging and good combinations down those wide areas and central areas. They're really good at that. I thought that's where they were at their best. It was a really tough challenge for our fullbacks against their wingers and the way they played down those sides. But apart from that, they didn't cause us too much problem. Neither did we. I think they did put themselves under a bit of pressure, and like we've done all season with the goal kicks, playing them short, and we set up in a good trap to try and catch them out by doing that. And they played out, and then obviously we had a couple of chances from breaking. But we'll get into the player ratings now. Harry Lewis, 3. I think he made a couple of decent saves, but he also made a couple of bad saves where he let one slip out of his hands and it bounced up into a Leyton Orient player, and then Halliday, I think, laid it off the line or something along those lines. He made a mistake there. There were a couple that were going wide and he conceded corners from. He ain't the best from corners. They didn't really target that, thank God. But I think that's something that he did get wrong, where he should have just let him go. But also, it's very easy for us to say that from the stands when we know it's going wide. Obviously, safety's first, so maybe it's not too much of a thing to criticise. Maybe it's a good thing that he didn't take the chance. But I think they're just niggly things. So I'm going to give him a 3 average. Although that mistake where it bounced up off him and into the Leyton Orient player, if it weren't for Brad Halliday, we could have lost that game and it possibly could have been on him. But I just want to say this, his character's fantastic. I listened to his interview with Jamie Warner in the week talking about how he might not have been playing if it weren't for us, and he was considering not playing anymore, I think in January, won't get much game time at Southampton. And you know, he loves being here, and we love him being here as well because of his character. We don't have characters like him in football in general, never mind at Bradford City. It's been a long time since we have characters like him. You know, after the minute silence, he comes over to the fans, clapping us all, and he knows what it means to be a Bradford City player. He's still relatively young, still ain't got much experience, and I think his personality and him being able to lead on the pitch, you know, to his teammates will come clearer in the next couple of seasons. But whether he stays or goes, we'd need him to stay because of his character. Although I did say previously that if the right money comes in for him, I probably would have to accept it, and for him. But I think whilst he's still got this mindset of he loves being at Bradford City, we've got to do everything in our ability to keep him, because you don't get players like Harry Lewis in football anymore. Into right back, we've got Brad Halliday, who gets a 3 as well. He won't man a match my table for me. Yes, he cleared one off the line. Yes, he had a decent game. But for me, he got found out a bit too much down that side. I do like him, he's very consistent, but down that side I did cause him problems, and he did get drawn in a bit, and maybe Stubbs didn't cover him enough. But I did think that he did look a bit vulnerable down that side to those quality players, that, you know, our League One quality players. But he's Brad Halliday, we'll find out hopefully next season. But obviously going forward, he got his goal again. That was probably a bit of luck, but deserved luck, because we haven't had it a lot this season with the deflection. But yeah, for me, I don't think he was man of match, but I would give him a 3 out of 5. Sam Stubbs again a 3. I thought he made some really good blocks, put his body on the line, but again he did get found out a bit in behind, and that's something that he's been prone to in the last couple of games. That lack of pace that he has against pacey wingers, pacey attacking players of the opposition, he gets found out, and he did against Leyton Orient today. So I think that's something that maybe we have to look at. But in terms of putting his body on the line and deflecting shots, I thought he had a fantastic game there. So 3 for Sam Stubbs. Critchlow gets a 4. Fantastic game again. Did what Stubbs did with putting his body on the line. Some really good blocks from Critchlow. Good positioning. Got out, got tight to players, but didn't get done for pace. And you know, there were a couple of times they played him behind to him, just shoulder barge someone, beat them for pace, and that's what Critchlow gives you. And it could be one of his last games for the club, like maybe Scott Banks as well. Again, you know, I'd love to keep him. Rideout again, for me, it's a toss-up. You could give him a 4 or 3. Going forward, he was okay. Didn't get him any support going forward, so I do feel for him a bit there. Defensively, he was okay, because that's what he is. He's an okay player. But I'm going to give him a 4 because I do think he has much improved recently, and he can be a bit of a scapegoat at times, but that is because he ain't good enough. So I'm going to give him a 4 because I think going forward he did put a few decent crosses in. Defensively, he did deal with a bit of what came down his side. But he is a bit of a weak link, and it's got to be something we've got to look at in the summer. Into midfield, Richie Smallwood played his 50th game for the club, and every game he does look better. I'll probably give him a 3, because it's an hard one to really gauge how well he did today, because going forward he didn't create no, but then defensively I thought his positioning was good, got into a few tackles. Again, he's starting to understand what it means to play for Bradford City. Against Crewe he didn't have the best of game, conceding a penalty, but I thought his overall performance was pretty good, and before then he was probably a man of match contender. Today, playing next to Leyton, especially in a bit of a double pivot, it didn't really work, and I don't think them two really complement each other unless Smallwood's asked to go forward more when we're a bit more attacking with them two in the side. I think it works better, but he had an okay game. He didn't do well, but really deserves a 4 in my opinion. Gilead 4. Maybe he doesn't deserve a 4. Let me know yours. But I thought his energy off the ball's second to none. He runs and runs and runs, and he does a lot of selfless running. Carries the ball well. He finds the right pass in the forward areas, and I think that can sometimes be underrated and underappreciated. But he doesn't always shoot. I know we all want him to. And I know we all want, quick football, direct, get shots off, but sometimes you need a cool head in that midfield to find the right pass instead of panicking and just going for a shot, maybe to be a bit of a crowd pleaser. So I think he does that a lot, but does get underappreciated, and the selfless winning as well. For me, he gets a 4. And Clayton as well, it's tough to really gauge how well he did as well, a bit like Smallwood, because I thought he had a good game, but then as the game went on, you could tell that he was lacking sharpness. You could tell he hadn't played for a while. You could tell he was coming back from an injury. However well we nursed that, you could tell he probably needed to come off because his legs were going a bit. But he was controlling the game until he made a mistake where he sort of dallied too much on the ball and then give it away and the counter attacked us. But apart from that, I thought he controlled the ball really well, set the tempo for us. Again, he positioned himself in midfield and was part of us defending really well in that first half. Going forward, I thought his passing was pretty good, and I think he's important to us, especially going into the playoffs. We've got to find a way of getting him in the team because of his experience. We do lack a cool lead in midfield, and we do lack someone who does calm the game down a bit. Even though we don't want to see that, we do need someone who uses experience well and sets the tempo. And if we need to play a bit quicker, he's good at playing a sharp pass or going a bit long. He did that a bit, but for me, again, towards the back end he did tire, so I'm going to give him a 3 because he has just come back from that injury in his first game since, I want to say around February, March. Jamie Walker, 3, it was alright. You could say, well, Jamie Walker, did he do enough? But then, did the midfield do enough for him? He didn't get enough of the ball, but then when he did he do enough with it? So I'm going to give him a 3. I thought it was alright. He's still got something to give to us in his last 3 games, hopefully. And hopefully he can produce a bit of magic because he's definitely got that in his pocket. Banks gets a 3 again. Didn't do enough, but did he get enough of the ball as well? Especially in the first half, I thought he was our outlet in behind with a pace, and then he did come off. So I'm going to give him a 3. It was okay, and I don't think he got enough of the ball to show what he can do. Andy Cook gets a 3 again. He didn't have anything to do in the final third. I can't remember him missing it. I can remember him missing a big chance. It was a good save as well. Got him behind the defence, and then he sort of thrashed it, but it was low, and the keeper made the save. So I thought he was going to score. Maybe he could have brought it a bit closer, but he was okay, Andy Cook. They're my player ratings. Let me know yours in the community tab or in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Massively looking forward to the next 2 games now against Carlisle, because it's one to. I think we've got to look at it as well as we can stick one up there. I don't want to say there's a rivalry forming because it's far from it, but ex-players, up against our club, but maybe they are one of the best teams we could have got because they are on the best of form. They've just drawn to Sutton, they lost 3-2 to Salford, they just beat Barrow, they drew to Stockport, they drew to Northampton, drew to Walsall, beat Tranmere, lost to Orient, lost to Gillingham, drew to us, drew to Stevenage. They're the last however many games I've just said. That was probably really boring and you could look it up, but I will do a preview for it. It's next Sunday, so probably next Friday. It's a massive game. We've got to be looking at maybe getting a point and taking that to their place because we are better away. However, we haven't lost at home since the 18th of February against Barrow, which was a bloody bland game. The pressure was on us to try and get into the playoffs because We don't want to bottle it, we don't want nothing left to play for, but we can take something away from this season, and I think that's the best thing. Finally, the last home game of the season is the day where we do respect and we do remember the 56, and they will never be forgotten. This year is the 38th year since that tragic accident happened. You know, last couple of months we've had that stupid podcast that came out, that conspiracy theory podcast. I can't remember his name, I don't want to say his name, because let's be honest, he doesn't matter to any of us, he don't matter to them, he don't matter to Bradford. All that matters to him is clicks, or to try and get a bit of attention or attraction, because he don't care about our thoughts. Whitfield posted a fantastic piece on it. If you haven't read it, go and read it, I'm sure you have. But that basically sums it all up. You know, now and then you do get these conspiracy theories, and these people who are trying to cause a story out of nothing about, you know, people who went to a football match and never came back, and it was an accident. You know, don't try and speculate something in there to be speculated, because you'll find that you're wrong, and you'll find that there's hundreds and thousands of Bradford fans that are loyal to their football club will just sit you down, you know, because we all know what them type of people are looking for, and they're not welcome at Bradford. Have a good one, and I'll see you for the playoff semi-final first leg preview against Carlisle.